What would be better than a 2-minute walk?
Yeah, it's really, if you're looking at just cardiovascular exercise or conditioning, which walking is a form of that. Certainly you have muscles involved there, but if we just look at it as conditioning, I still think, your biggest bang for your buck is to try to accomplish bouts of 5 minutes or greater. So you're close.
So longer than 5 minutes.
Yes. So it's not that anything less than 5 minutes. It's not that it doesn't count.
Right.
It's just that you can start to realize the most benefits from a cardiovascular perspective as you push and extend that out. So certainly the 2 minutes is, if that's the time you have and that's where you're starting, then man, I mean, that's fantastic. But like anything, you have to use that to kind of keep pushing the needle.
Okay. So again, this article is of questionable value, but the point remains you need to get up and move after you eat. And it's always better. So what I shouldn't do on Thanksgiving is eat my second helping and then sit down on the couch and watch the rest of the parade or the football game. Mm-hmm. Ideally. Yeah. Maybe reality might say otherwise.
I guess even the other way I look at it is, it doesn't necessarily have to be after every meal or every big meal. It's just showing that doing something, even if it's 2 minutes of exercise, can have some impact. We don't know exactly what the impact is, but that it can have some impact. And doing it after a meal can potentially have a little of a larger impact than if you did it middle of the day randomly. Okay. Potentially. That's what this is at least beginning to show.
Okay, so this is foundational work that we can build on theoretically. Mm-hmm. And the idea being, it does matter to some extent. Any movement is better than no movement. But if you want to maximize its beneficial outcomes
on glucose,
mm-hmm. then the best time am I speaking correctly? The best time to do it is after a meal? Is there a benefit?
I think that's what the study's that's what it's trying to say.
Without a ton of details.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so this almost, in my opinion, like this is where the problem lies.
Yeah.
Because it's just a little too detailed. It's like, I don't, how much benefit are you going to get?
It's too detailed? You mean it's not detailed?
I just mean, like, why worry about what happens to your blood sugar immediately after you eat when you go walk for 2 minutes?
Got it.
You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
Just the overarching picture is still what matters, Right. But if 2 minutes is what you need to, kind of cling to start, that's sensible. But worrying about it on such a granular level is a bit.
So it would be more important to create a routine of, like, this could be useful from routinizing perspective of going, hey, after we eat dinner, we clear the table and then we go for a 10-minute walk, a 15-minute walk, a 20-minute walk. And we start to do that every single day so that we get that movement as a part of our daily life.
Yeah, definitely.
And the specifics of it are, this is nice information, but it's not really about worrying about your glucose in the moment. It's more lifestyle and habits.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, yes, that's sufficient. No doubt.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
The thing is, like, they do in the study, I mean, they look at more outcomes than just blood glucose. They look at what happens to systolic blood pressure, diastolic blood pressure, triglycerides. Like they want to draw the connection as to, like, how little basically what's the minimum dose that we can elicit a response after a meal, or whatever, or towards your systolic blood pressure, the difference between standing, doing nothing, walking a little bit. So what they find is it kind of is already known, standing is a little better than sitting. Right. Walking is a little better than standing. Right. So then doing something for 5 minutes and beyond is going to be a little better than doing something for 2 minutes. So it's kind of, it's great that it just continues to kind of like push the ball forward.
Reinforce.
But at the same time, it's like we want to look at, like, bigger outcomes.
Got it. I see what you're saying.
But it's not that it's not useless.
Right. All right. So Tyler will keep his judgmental opinions to himself. No, That makes sense, because that was one of my questions. As I was reading this and we were talking about it, I kind of was like, well, then why did they do that other than just it's a headline to get people's attention? Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that's why the article was written. But the study itself, you're talking about like a minimal effective dose. Where is the bottom line at which we can start to make something happen?
Yes.
Okay, now let's keep going.
Yes. And then I guess the last thing to add, not to harp on this too much, but the most relatable societal connection here is the emergence of all the standing desks.
Yes.
So it's the same. It's kind of, it's just,
I have one of those. I love it.
I think a lot of people do now, because it's like, well, if I can give myself an advantage, if I can burn a few extra calories or whatever, they just figured break up your day.
That's exactly. Right? It just makes me, I don't sit in the same position all day, and my back doesn't hurt as much. And
yes,
it's great.
Yes. And so whenever you have tempered expectations like that, it's can only be a net benefit. But then you have companies who spent $500 per desk across 350 employees. They want to see if this increased their metabolic rate, or did our staff lose weight? What kind of like big outcomes are we seeing with this intervention? And granted, it's a very small part of the puzzle, but they're seeing, just as an example, there was a meta-analysis on standing desks specifically that, again, it definitely made people stand.
Right.
But the standing didn't necessarily make them that much healthier. It's like,
got it.
Temper expectations. They're great. They'll break up your day. Who doesn't like being on their feet a little bit more? If that helps take somebody from zero, then great.